It is a question that has troubled humanity for centuries. We stand at the peaks of achievement, yet even from those heights, we glimpse something beyond, something greater, something we cannot quite reach. What is this invisible longing that whispers within us? Consider the nature of desire. A child feels hunger, and there is such a thing as food. A man is thirsty, and there is such a thing as water. We experience loneliness, and there are friendships to fulfill that need. But what about that deeper, more mysterious yearning, the one that no amount of pleasure, power, or knowledge can satisfy? If nothing in this world can fully quench it, does it not suggest that we were made for something beyond this world? Look around. Everything in this life is fleeting. The wealth we accumulate, the beauty we admire, even the relationships we cherish, they all fade with time. If we were meant for nothing more than this world, why do we grieve loss so deeply? Why does something within us cry out for eternity? The truth is, human history tells us something remarkable. Across every culture and civilization, there is a belief in something beyond death, a world unseen yet deeply felt. Is this mere coincidence? Or is it the undeniable evidence that we were made for more than just this temporary existence? If this life isn't enough, then perhaps the answer is not to settle for less, but to look beyond. Perhaps our dissatisfaction is not a curse, but an invitation to seek, to question, to awaken to a reality greater than the one before our eyes. And if we were made for another world, then our greatest mistake would be to live as though this one is all that matters. Every human heart carries an unshakable sense of longing and ache that remains, no matter how much we achieve, no matter how deeply we indulge in the pleasures of this world. It is an unspoken feeling that lingers even in our happiest moments, whispering that something is still missing. People climb to great heights, reach their dreams, and yet, once the initial excitement fades, they find themselves yearning once again. It is as if we are always searching for something just beyond our reach, something that this world cannot seem to provide. This longing manifests in different ways. Some seek fulfillment in wealth, believing that financial success will finally bring them peace. But even the wealthiest people in history have confessed to an emptiness that riches could not fill. Others turn to love and relationships, hoping that another person will complete them. Yet, even in the most devoted love, there remains a quiet yearning for something more, something beyond human connection. Some pursue knowledge, believing that understanding the mysteries of the universe will satisfy them. But the more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly know, and the longing persists. It is a hunger that no earthly food can satisfy, a thirst that no drink can quench. Even in the most fulfilling moments of life, when standing before breathtaking landscapes, when listening to music that moves the soul, when experiencing the depth of love, there is an unmistakable echo of something greater. These moments stir something within us, awakening a desire we cannot quite define. It is as if we are given glimpses of a reality beyond our own, but never the full picture. This longing is universal. It is not confined to a single culture, belief system, or time period. Throughout history, poets, philosophers, and thinkers have spoken of this deep inner ache. It is the theme of countless stories, myths, and legends, the search for a paradise lost, the quest for something beyond the limits of this world. Whether it is the ancient myths of a golden age, the idea of an afterlife, or the longing for an eternal home, Humanity has always recognized this sense of being incomplete. Even in the simplest moments of daily life, this longing reveals itself. A person reaches a long-awaited goal, only to feel an odd sense of dissatisfaction. A traveler explores the most beautiful places on earth, yet finds that no destination feels like home. A child eagerly anticipates a special day, only to feel strangely empty once it has passed. There is always the expectation that the next achievement, the next experience, the next stage of life will bring lasting fulfillment. But once it arrives, the longing remains unchanged. Why does this feeling exist? If we were merely creatures of this world, shaped only by physical needs and survival instincts, then all our desires should have natural fulfillments. Hunger points to food, thirst points to water, fatigue points to rest. But this longing is different. It points to something beyond the material world, something not found in pleasure, power, or knowledge. It suggests that we were made for something greater than what this world can offer. Children experience this longing in its purest form. A child will ask questions about things that adults have learned to ignore. Why do the stars shine? Where does the wind go? What is beyond the sky? There is a natural curiosity, an instinct that tells them there is more to life than what they see. But as people grow older, they often try to silence this longing, convincing themselves that happiness can be found in temporary things. Yet, no matter how much they try, the ache remains. Some try to numb this longing by distracting themselves with entertainment, busyness, or material pleasures. Others convince themselves that the feeling is just a trick of the mind, an illusion created by human imagination. But if this longing is an illusion, why does it persist so powerfully? Why does it remain even when all other needs are met? Why does it stir most deeply in moments of great beauty, love, or sorrow? The very existence of this longing is a mystery that cannot be ignored. It is not a flaw in human nature, rather. It is a clue, perhaps even a message. It speaks of a reality beyond what we see, a world we were meant to know but have somehow forgotten. It is not a curse, but an invitation. People spend their lives chasing after things they believe will bring them fulfillment, wealth, success, love, pleasure, knowledge. Each pursuit carries the promise of satisfaction, the belief that once a particular goal is reached, the hunger within will finally be satisfied. Yet, time and again, those who attain what they once desired find themselves asking the same question: why do I still feel empty? Wealth seems like an obvious solution to life's problems. People imagine that if they had enough money, they could buy happiness, security, and freedom. Yet, some of the wealthiest individuals in history have confessed to a profound emptiness. The richest people can own everything they could ever want: mansions, luxury cars, extravagant vacations, yet many of them remain restless, searching for meaning beyond their possessions. The more they acquire, the more they realize that wealth alone cannot satisfy the deeper longing within. Success is another powerful illusion. The world teaches that if one works hard enough, achieves enough, and rises above others, fulfillment will follow. But how often do we see highly accomplished individuals, celebrities, athletes, leaders reach the peak of their careers, only to struggle with depression, addiction, or despair? Even after reaching their highest goals, they find that the feeling of emptiness remains. They might enjoy temporary satisfaction, but once the applause fades, the longing returns, stronger than before. Relationships promise fulfillment in a different way. People believe that if they find the right partner, the right friend, or the right community, the aching loneliness will disappear. Love, companionship, and deep connection are important, but no human relationship can completely satisfy the soul. Even in the closest bonds, there are moments of misunderstanding, disappointment, and longing for something more. Those who rely entirely on another person to fulfill them often find themselves feeling even more alone, burdened by the realization that no one else can fully complete them. Pleasure offers a temporary escape. Food, entertainment, physical indulgence, these things bring moments of joy, but they fade quickly. A person can experience the finest meals, the most thrilling adventures, the greatest comforts, yet the satisfaction never lasts. The world offers an endless cycle of pleasures, yet they all have one thing in common: they wear off. The excitement fades, the hunger returns, and the person is left chasing the next experience, hoping that maybe the next thrill will finally be the one that lasts. Knowledge and intellectual achievement seem like a higher path to fulfillment. Many believe that understanding the mysteries of life, mastering a field of study, or uncovering great truths will bring lasting contentment. Yet, the more people learn, the more they realize how little they actually know. Scholars, scientists, and philosophers who have spent their lives seeking knowledge often admit that their search has only deepened their sense of mystery. Instead of answers, they find more questions. Instead of certainty, they encounter an even greater longing. This cycle of chasing fulfillment repeats itself across generations. Young people dream of a future where they will finally be happy graduating, getting a dream job, falling in love, traveling the world. But those who reach these milestones often feel a strange sense of disappointment, as if reality does not quite match the expectation. The happiness is real, but it is fleeting. The moment passes, and the longing remains. Even the greatest moments of life contain an element of longing. A breathtaking sunset, a powerful piece of music, a deeply moving conversation. These experiences awaken something within, something that feels close to fulfillment, but never quite reaches it. People describe these moments as glimpses of something greater, but the feeling never lasts. No matter how beautiful the experience, it always fades, leaving behind the same unfulfilled desire. If the things of this world were meant to fully satisfy us, why do they always fall short? Why do people who seem to have everything, fame, fortune, love, wisdom, still feel incomplete? Why does every pleasure, every success, every relationship eventually reveal its limitations? The illusion of fulfillment is not a failure of the things themselves. Wealth, success, love, pleasure, and knowledge are all good in their own way, but they were never meant to be the final answer. They are not the destination, they are only signposts. They remind us that we are searching for something beyond them, something greater, something that no earthly thing can provide. Desire is one of the most fundamental aspects of human existence. From the moment we are born, we experience hunger, thirst, and the need for warmth, love, and security. These desires correspond to real things. Food satisfies hunger, water quenches thirst, and companionship eases loneliness. Every natural desire we have seems to have a matching fulfillment. If we feel the pull of an instinct, there is something in the world that meets it. This simple truth shapes the way we understand life. A newborn child cries for milk before it even knows what milk is, yet the nourishment exists. A weary traveler longs for rest, and the comfort of sleep is real. A person lost in the desert craves water, and fresh springs flow somewhere in the world. The existence of these desires does not prove that every individual will attain what they long for, but it does suggest that the thing they need is not imaginary. If every natural longing corresponds to something real, then what do we make of the deepest longing within us, the one that nothing in this world fully satisfies? People spend their lives seeking something beyond mere survival. Even when all physical needs are met, an inner hunger remains. This hunger cannot be silenced by wealth, relationships, entertainment, or achievement. No matter how much a person attains, a quiet voice inside continues to whisper, "There must be more." This universal longing cannot be reduced to simple boredom or dissatisfaction. It points to something fundamental about human nature. This deep desire takes many forms. Some feel it as an unexplainable yearning for beauty and overwhelming emotion when standing before a breathtaking landscape, hearing a powerful piece of music, or watching a moment of pure kindness. Others experience it as a sense of homesickness, even when they are in the most comfortable places. No matter how much they try to settle into the routines of life, something within them feels like a stranger in this world. It is as if the soul remembers a home it has never seen. There is also the longing for meaning. Human beings do not simply exist, they seek purpose. They want their lives to count for something greater than themselves. Even those who claim that life has no inherent meaning find themselves acting as if it does, striving for justice, love, and truth. The desire for purpose is not an illusion. It is woven into the fabric of human nature. And just as hunger points to food and thirst points to water, the longing for meaning must point to something real. The pursuit of this unseen fulfillment is what drives human progress, art, philosophy, and spiritual exploration. If people were content with mere survival, civilization would never have advanced beyond basic needs. But the fact that humans dream, create, and search for something beyond themselves suggests that they were made for more than just this material world. If every other desire has a corresponding fulfillment, then it is logical to consider that this ultimate longing also has something real to satisfy it. This longing is not unique to one culture, time period, or belief system. It is a shared experience among all people, from ancient philosophers to modern thinkers. Across history, literature, and religion, the idea of a paradise lost, an eternal home, or a higher reality recurs again and again. It is not merely wishful thinking, it is a recognition of something deeply embedded in human consciousness. If this longing were just a product of imagination, it would not be so persistent, so universal, and so powerful. Some try to explain away this desire as an evolutionary byproduct, suggesting that it serves no real purpose beyond psychological comfort. But this argument overlooks the fact that natural desires are not random. They exist because they correspond to something real. If evolution alone shaped human desires, then why would humans long for something that nothing in the natural world can fully provide? Why would people feel restless even when they have everything they thought they needed? A meaningless world would not produce beings who long for meaning. The nature of desire suggests that human beings are not merely creatures of this world. The things of this life, as good as they are, act more like hints or signposts rather than final destinations. They stir the longing, but they do not fulfill it. The fact that no earthly thing can completely satisfy this deep hunger is not proof that fulfillment does not exist. It is evidence that the answer lies beyond this world. Everything in this world is temporary. The seasons change, the years pass, and nothing remains as it once was. Even the strongest structures built by human hands crumble with time. The great cities of history, once full of life and splendor, now exist only in ruins and faded records. What was once new and full of promise eventually grows old, and what seemed permanent reveals itself to be fleeting. The temporary nature of life is an undeniable reality, yet something within the human heart resists this truth. People long for permanence in a world that does not offer it. They seek to preserve beauty, to hold on to moments, to make relationships last forever. They build monuments, write books, take photographs, and tell stories, all in an effort to capture something that time will inevitably take away. The instinct to resist the passing of time suggests that human beings were not meant to be entirely at home in a temporary world. If everything we know eventually fades, why does the soul long for things that endure? Love itself testifies to this paradox. People form deep connections, make promises, and vow to remain together forever. The idea of love being temporary feels unnatural. No one stands at a wedding altar hoping their love will end one day. When a loved one is lost, grief is not just sadness. It is the pain of separation from something the heart believed should never be lost. If love were meant to be temporary, why does the thought of losing it feel so wrong? Human relationships reflect this struggle between the temporary and the eternal. Friendships and family bonds bring immense joy, but they also carry the sorrow of change and loss. Children grow up, loved ones pass away, and even the closest relationships experience distance over time. The heart resists this reality, longing for a connection that does not fade, a bond that remains unbroken. If life were only meant to be lived within the boundaries of time, why does the soul crave something beyond those limits? The pursuit of legacy is another sign of this longing. People want their work, their name, or their ideas to outlive them. They strive to make a difference, to create something that will last beyond their own lifetime. Writers fill pages with thoughts they hope will be read by future generations. Artists create masterpieces in an attempt to capture something timeless. Leaders fight to shape history, believing that their actions will have a lasting impact. But even the greatest legacies are eventually forgotten. The names of kings, inventors, and warriors that once shook the world are now just footnotes in history. If nothing truly lasts, why does humanity persist in trying to make things eternal? The experience of beauty reveals another dimension of this longing. A sunset, a piece of music, a work of art, these moments stir something deep within. People try to hold on to them, to revisit them, to recreate them, but beauty is elusive. A song that once moved the heart fades into familiarity. A breathtaking view eventually becomes just another landscape. The moment of awe passes, leaving behind a longing to experience it again. If beauty were only meant to be momentary, why does the soul long for it to last forever? Even in personal identity, the struggle between the temporary and the eternal is evident. A person changes over time. Thoughts, beliefs, and emotions shift with experience. The body ages, the face in the mirror transforms, yet the sense of self remains. People say they still feel like the same person they were as children, as if there is something within them that does not change even as everything around them does. If human beings were merely products of time, why does the inner self feel untouched by it? Throughout history, different cultures and philosophies have wrestled with this paradox. Some have tried to embrace the temporary nature of life, arguing that meaning comes from accepting change and loss. Others have insisted that something beyond this world must exist to fulfill the longing for permanence. Across all these perspectives, one truth remains consistent: humanity is restless in a world that does not last. If everything we experience is temporary, yet we long for the eternal, then perhaps this longing itself is a clue to something beyond what we can see.